Alrighty, I'm doing a post-game show. Don't do this often, especially with wins, but I felt like tonight was a big win, and I wanted to do a little bit of a post-game show. I didn't get a chance. I've been a little busy with school starting back, so I didn't get a chance to do a post-game show for the Tigers series. Wouldn't have been much. It would have been Yankees lost 2-3. All three games were, for more lack of a better word, laughers, but they got the win on the game that mattered, September 11th. That to me, if they were only to win one, that would have been the one I would have wanted them to win, and they got the job done. So that's your Tiger series recap. I want to talk a little bit about Game One against Boston because I feel like this game was such a huge game for the Yankees, and I feel like they had to have it. There are certain games that you gotta go and you gotta win. And when Judge homers in the first, it's like, all right, they're gonna need more than one. Now, I didn't think they were gonna be able to survive this game with four, given the state of the bullpen this week. We'll get to the bullpen, but they were, and they got the job done. And the at bats, there were a couple innings there. The middle innings, the at bats were a little flat. I think they were retired like 9 in a row at one point, or 8 in a row, and then um, what was it? It might have been 8 in a row, and then um, the single by Stanton with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Yeah, they were retired from the Bellinger RBI single in the 3rd till that point, and then that knocked Giolito out of the game. Actually, let's start there. Giolito got knocked around by the Yankees today. Now, this has been a thing even when he was at Yankee Stadium. He left the game losing the game. And the Yankee bullpen blew that with a combination of, couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. The Yankees blew that game, I should say, not the bullpen. Combination of the Yankees couldn't hit with runners in scoring position to the Yankee bullpen. Luke Weaver that night employed. We're going to talk about Luke Weaver because there was something that came up that I'm trying to get confirmation on and haven't. So there was that. And same pitching matchup. And tonight, Luis Heel no-hit the Boston Red Sox for 6 innings. The Yankees held the Red Sox to 2 hits. The Red Sox have a top offense in baseball. That's an impressive feat. It is. Obviously, the first hit off Fernando Cruz was a solo home run by Nate Eaton. I believe it's a home run in like 1 or 2 ballparks. Like, it's definitely not a 30-30 shot. And yes, it was rocked, even if it's in the gapper. If it's a gapper, let's see. Oh, it is gone in 30-30. Oh. Well, I stand corrected. I thought it looked like a Fenway shot. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Anyways, that was like really, and then Devin gives up the Bregman single to lead off the 8th, and that's when I think everybody in Yankee universe was like, here we bleep and go. This is how it starts, right? This is how it starts. A leadoff single, then he advances to second on the comebacker to Williams. Then once he got Massa out, it was like, okay, he has 2 outs. If he walked, I think the next batter was might have been Eaton, actually. I could be wrong. Oh, Narvi. No. Oh, no. He struck out Nate Lowe, excuse me. Then it was Masataka Yoshida. It's like, okay. He was down the count. I think it was a 2-1 counter, something like that. He's behind the Massa. And I was like, if you walk him, you bring in Bednar to face Narvaez as representing the tying run. Obviously, it didn't get that far. He was able to get Yoshida to the ground out to third. Great play by McMahon. Really saving that from being a double down the line. Should have been a double down the line. He saved it. And threw over to first. It was low throw. But the pick from Goldschmidt. And this is why, Ben Rice was talking about post game. He was removed from the game for defensive purposes. This is why he was removed from the game for defensive purposes. He was removed from the game for defensive purposes because the defensive wizard at first base, they're picking up scoops out of the dirt and saving your guys' errors and saving your pitcher pitches. Because if you picked up anything on Devin Williams' body language, when errors or things don't go his way, don't go according to plan, don't go the way he wants, he starts to get in his head. And when he starts to get in his head, he starts to fall apart. And you can't fall apart. This is a sport where you can't fall apart in that sense. Where you can't do that. And the fact that they were able to get it done and he was able to get out of that inning is a big deal. Do I trust Devin Williams? No. Will I trust Devin Williams? Probably not. I will say this. Did the trust meter go up a little bit? Yes. The reason? He allowed a leadoff hit. Nothing else across. It wasn't like he was in Marlins Park or, if this is this week in a 4-1 game up in Target Field against Minnesota, bomb dweller, even though, they went down and walked off. This isn't some bomb dweller, right? You're in a postseason environment. This is Fenway Park. You're facing the meat of that Boston lineup. They very easily could have put a great at-bats on him and wore him the hell out. And they didn't. Instead, he was able to work around his own trouble and was able to get out of that inning clean and scoreless and held the game right where it was. The job of the Yankee relievers going forward is to get the ball to David Bednar with a lead. If you give up, hey, look, clean innings, scoreless innings, strike the side out, whatever, that's all cool. It's all well and good. As long as David Bednar gets the ball with the lead, then that's what matters at this point. That's what you need to do. You need to get the ball to your closer, the ball to your best. Because right now your best is David Bednar. And Fernando Cruz, he's gotten roughed up again. Solo home run, I understand that, but that's something that needs to be watched. Is the Linsanity run, for lack of a better words, of Fernando Cruz up? Is the Linsanity run over? Could be. Let's hope not. We don't know. And we're not going to know. I don't think it is. I think his stuff looked good tonight. I think it was just a hanging changeup, and things happen, and it's called life. That's what I chalk that up to. That's what I think it was. But we're going to see. Luke Weaver was up and then sat down. Last time he did this, it was an injury. I don't think Boone was asked. Boone didn't say it. So I guess no news is good news. I reached out to someone to see if they knew anything. I haven't gotten an answer. Might be too soon to tell. The post-game interviews were right on Luke Weaver's locker. I didn't see him. His stuff was in there, but then wasn't. So we'll see with that. Obviously, if Luke Weaver, even though he struggled a little bit as of late, with that being said, if he's not pitching big innings for the Yankees down the stretch into the postseason, where I think he's going to be fine. I think the Houston stuff, that was a little overblown, right? And then there was the other one, obviously in a laugher. But, he worked scoreless outings against Toronto, right? Did he allow a double? Yes. Once again, get the ball to your pitcher. get the ball in your closer. That's everyone's job at this point, and that's what we're looking at here. I do trust Luke Weaver more than I trust David. Not Dave Bednar. Bednar's got guts, and I'm going to get to him in a second. David Bednar. Put it to Bednar at this point. He's got it, and by it, I think everyone on here knows what I mean. Balls, guts. He's got it. He knows what he's doing. He's got charisma. Wow. I am shocked. I have the Giants Dodgers on my iPad on the side, so if you see me looking over, I'm glancing at that. I'm shocked that didn't get overturned at first. The MLB Replay Center, can we talk about them for a second? Those scumbags on 6th Avenue? What do they see? Or is Angel Hernandez, is that his new job? Did Angel Hernandez just get removed from being a field umpire and relegated to, replay review? Because some of these calls, not just the Yankees, some of these calls across Major League Baseball have been sent to replay. And it have been horrible. I mean, Jazz was safe at home plate. Now, the reason he was called out on the field, right, they said stands, is because they didn't have definitive evidence. Partially because Fenway Park is an old ballpark and they don't have all the camera angles they might have at Yankee Stadium because it's a new ballpark or some of the other parks around baseball, which is, it is what it is. This is at Oracle Park just now. Andy Pajes was clearly safe. I'm sure you'll see the replay because it'll be tweeted by every Dodger fan on the planet. He was pretty safe on that. Dom Smith, who probably just hurt his leg, stretched out to make an unbelievable play on an infield ground out, I guess. Looked like a single. And it looked safe to me. But I have 4 eyes. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the problem. Jazz was safe at home plate tonight. It looked pretty safe to me. I saw multiple replays. Now, they said call stands, which pretty much is them saying that they don't believe, they didn't have definitive evidence to say one way or the other. Okay, fine. But it feels like more often than not the obvious ones go to replay and the Yankees don't get the calls. It seems like that. And I was talking to my dad after the game for a minute, and he's like, that's a big call. I'm like, yeah, it's a huge call. He goes, well, it ended up not being. I go, no, it's a huge call because it puts you up a grand slam. And, as much as we like to rely on David Bednar, and I really like him, we didn't know how he was going to react coming in the 9th inning tonight. This isn't Yankee Stadium against Toronto last week. This isn't on the road in, like I was just saying, in Marlin. Well, I can't use Marlins Park with him because he stinks there. This isn't on the road in Texas where he did 5 outs. This isn't on the road in St. Louis or this upcoming week in Minnesota or at Baltimore next week. It wasn't those. This is at Fenway Park in a postseason environment against some, some good hitters. Narvaez has had an okay year. David Hamilton's useless, and Nate Eden, who he struck out swinging, obviously had the home run. I don't know why I didn't fill that in. Had the home run. And, Bednar was the only reliever to pitch a 1-2-3 inning, which that's what you want from your closer. The middle guys, it's going to happen where things are going to happen. But the Yankee bullpen today, in 3 innings, struck out 6 batters. Allowed 2 hits and a walk. 2 hits and no walks. 1 walk, excuse me. 2 hits and a walk. That's solid relief pitching. And now you've seen with a lead that they can get jobs done like this, which is encouraging. And you saw Luis Gil go out there tonight and fight. Now, he hit the Boston Red Sox for 6 innings. He has a career ERA against the Boston Red Sox under 1, a 0.98 ERA, which is the best among any active starter in baseball. That's had more than 5 starts against the Yankees, against the Boston Red Sox. He looked really good and in command for a lot of the game. There obviously were some walks, or were there? Some of the walks were very controversial, in my opinion. See, MLB's posting the thing. Anyways, the walks are a bit much, and the walks need to stop. And this is an in general thing. The walks from starting pitching. I can't really say relief pitching because they only walked one. The walks are a lot. And it wasn't just the walks. It was the wild pitch. It was the balk. Even though they had those bases stolen, it shouldn't have been ruled a balk. There should be a rule on that. And from Katie Sharp, tonight is the first time that the Yankees have allowed 2 hits or fewer and had 10-plus strikeouts in a game against the Red Sox since September 26th, 2009. You all know what happened a month later. Is that a sign? I don't know. There have been a couple things this year where they haven't done this since 2009. I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series because I don't know. I do know that Tariq Skubal's out, and Tariq Skubal's hurt. And I do know that if Jeff Passan's tweeting out about a Tariq Skubal injury, even though Passan only said he was going to get an imaging, I do know Passan's not tweeting that out just because. Because I know Jeff Passan doesn't tweet things out. You know, he's not freaking Heyman or Bob Nightingale who just sit there and tweet about random things all day. Passan tweets out the important shit. He puts the important stuff out. So for Jeff Passan to sit there and tweet out that, you know, Skubal's going for MRIs, he's going back to Detroit. I believe they're in Miami. He's going back to Detroit. That's not a good sign. It's really not a good sign. Skubal did speak after the game, and he said it was something he's never felt before. It looked like a rib cage thing, but no one knows anything. No one knows what happened. What my point is, because this isn't Tigers podcast, this is a Yankee podcast. The point is having him out down the stretch for the Tigers is a big deal because, you know, Casey Mize said he impressed you the other night. He didn't impress me. The only reason the Yankees didn't touch him is because, well, they touched him and he left the game tied, right? And the only reason the Yankees lost that game is because the bullpen imploded, the offense left. And same Wednesday. Did Jack Flaherty really, wow you? No. The umpire cost the Yankees bases loaded, nobody out in the third inning. We don't know. Who knows if the next guy comes up in his grand slam? We don't know. We'll never know because the umpire cost them what was clearly ball 4 to Aaron Judge. We don't know. Such is life, right? So we'll know. Did Flaherty really blow you away and blow me away? And obviously bullpen chaos. I mean, the Yankees really took care of bullpen chaos. The reason the Yankees lost the Tiger series, lack of hits against starting pitching. That was one. The hell is that? Lack of hits against starting pitching. That was one. And the other one was the bullpen. The Yankee bullpen is horrific. I don't trust them. I trust like 2 guys back there, and that's it. The Yankee bullpen's not that great. And if Devin Williams is going to pitch the way he did today, and the way he did pitch on Sunday, because that is a big game, then maybe you have your 8th inning guy, your 7th or 8th inning guy. It seems to me, even though the numbers don't really show it as much, that Devin Williams, as the spotlight gets higher, looks a little bit crisper. I think that's the word. I don't want to say like better because the numbers don't show that. I'll say crisp. He looks more crisp than he did. And he looked okay tonight. You know, he gave up a 3-2 base hit to Bregman. I guess it's better than a walk. You know, advancing the second wasn't on him. Bregman doesn't run much. And the fact that he didn't allow him to run the score is a big deal. You know, I'm saying it for Bednar. I'm saying it for Devin. Fernando a little bit. This isn't an environment for, especially like in Pittsburgh, you know, or in Milwaukee. You know, we all know what happened when Devin was in Milwaukee in a big moment, all right? Pete Alonso happened. You know, David Bednar has a better track record, which is why he's pitching the 9th inning and looks damn good at doing it, in my opinion, from my vantage point. That's the guy I want out there pitching the ninth. I really like him. I think he's got to be the guy going forward. He's your ninth inning man. And if you need to bring him out, let's say tomorrow, they're in a big spot, 2-1 lead or something like that. They somehow scratched a couple across from Bayo. Boston boots the ball around a little bit. You get a run or two across against Bayo. Eighth inning, Weaver's got a runner on second, 2 men out in a 1-run game. I'd go to Bednar for 4. Make him get 4 outs. Maybe your offense puts another run up in the ninth. Probably not. But you have to have faith in your guys, and I have faith in David Bednar because he just went in a postseason environment where it's a bunch of Boston fans in that ballpark, where it's a house of horrors for the Yankees over the past several years, where they have a really bad, since the 2021 wildcard game where Cole imploded, the Yankees' track record in that ballpark has been horrible. It's really been bad. And the fact that the Yankees were able tonight to win a close game, it wasn't that game last year. It's Saturday. I think they won the 1 game in Fenway last year. They won 3 games at Fenway Park last year. They played 6. They split 3-3. The first game was the Bayo game where he imploded. And I think the Yankees won like 9-3 or 9-4. Second, then they lost the rest of the weekend. Then they came back to Fenway. The Friday night game, they had the lead off the Judge 3-run home run, and then they blew the lead. Luke Weaver gave up a 2-run home run, I think, to Massa. I forget who it was. Doesn't matter. And the next night was that crazy game where it was like, I think like 12-10 or something, and Holmes actually like pitched well for once. Like my dad texted me when Yoshida grounded out to end the inning. He's like, they got Yoshida or something like that, or he can sit down or something. I go, he haunts my nightmares. And my dad goes, LOL. And I sent him like the tweet of when Masataka tied it off Holmes last year at Yankee Stadium. And that was the night before the Ben Rice 3 home run game. And I was like, oh my God, I remember that game. And then Canely gave it up. Here's a quote from the Judge. So this is Aaron Judge on passing Joey D for sole possession. Let me get it up on the screen. For sole possession of 4th place on the Yankees franchise record home run list. And I'm going to start by saying this. I undersell Judge a lot. I really do. Because I get to watch him every day. And baseball is a sport where you're only going to be successful between 25 and 35% of the time. And Judge, obviously, he's batting, 322 on the year now. So he's being successful, 32% of the time? And I said, between something like that. Anyways, big from Judge. The Judge looks to be heating up a bit, which I think is needed because the one thing the Yankees are missing going down the stretch right now is Judge being a beast. And everyone is like, win this division. Do we really want to win? I think that's good. Do we really need to win this division? I mean, I would love to win the division. The Yankees haven't won back-to-back division titles in a while. And the track record says that the Yankees are better off when they win the division. I think the Yankees should be shooting for the division, but wild card 1 is good as well. You have to have this series, which is probably if this is why this weekend's so big, and I'm talking about postseason atmosphere, relievers, all that stuff, because this is a postseason preview. Luis Seals now is going to get the ball ahead of Cam Schlittler in a postseason series because of his career numbers against Boston. We don't know what Cam looks like. And the reason the Yankees probably need to win tomorrow is because Will Warner's gotten knocked around by them all year. He's looked horrible against them. And you need to win tomorrow with your ace on the mound. It's going to be hard because Brian Bayo has the best numbers against the Yankees in all of Major League Baseball. And has not given up and run to them in 14 innings to pitch this year. So Judge on passing Joey D for sole possession on the 4th home run list. He said this on Yes Network. It was special, Judge said, but just like those guys in front of me and on the list, they weren't playing for records, they were playing to win. So I'm just trying to follow in their footsteps. I'm here to win. That's gonna play me right into this. It sets the table. In order for the Yankees to have any success this year, Aaron Judge needs to hit in the playoffs, and he needs to hit in the clutch. Judge did a lot of things today. He also now leads MLB in MLB history with the most first inning home runs in Major League Baseball history now, with 19 on the year, passing him last year and A-Rod in 01 when he was with Texas. The longest home run hit in Fenway Park this year as well. I guess Restream is not letting me show it, so I apologize. But anyway, the 467 foot, I believe, blast was the longest home run this season hit at Fenway Park so far. Obviously, the Yankees are here 2 more nights, so that could change between him and Stanton. And Stanton is looking a lot better as of late. I mean, a lot better. I mean, this is out in every ballpark. 368 feet moonshot is what it's called. Now, the one good thing about Apple Plus is you can actually change the broadcast so that I didn't have to listen. My dad didn't know this. To the Apple Plus announcers, Dontrell Willis and whoever it was. I got to listen to Dave and Susan, and Dave did a good job. No, he's no John Sterling, but I'd rather listen to home people in that situation. Obviously, Sunday David Cohen I guess counts, so I'm sure he'll do the broadcast tomorrow with Michael, which will be great. 4 o'clock start on Yes tomorrow, so obviously a little bit of an odd start. But Aaron Judge is putting up career numbers, even though you have Apple Plus putting up his numbers over the past several months, which haven't been as great. And I've mentioned that. But he's going on his little home run tear. He couldn't be going on one at a better spot. The Yankees are trying to win this division. They want this division. Who says the Yankees can't go back to the World Series this year? No one. They can. And they could. They have a damn good chance of doing so. They have a goodest chance of anyone else in baseball to get back to the World Series. They do. I'll pull this stat up. This is awesome. Because if you have a guy who can handle that lineup, that's a good thing. Judge needs to be locked in for them to go on a deep run. I think the Yankees talent-wise are the best team in the American League. They are, as a talent, what that offense can do. And we saw it a bit tonight. Because they didn't score, they scored 1 run on the homer. I know everyone wants to sit there and say, oh, Buck Martinez, oh, Yankees, home run, whatever he says or whatever he sounds like. They only score when they hit home runs. I don't care what the record says, they're not good. Well, guess what? The Yankees the past 2 days have scored a combined 3 runs via the home run. The Yankees have scored 9 runs without the home run. So, there's your stat. The Yankees scored 4 runs today. They also scored because they put the ball in play and let the Red Sox embarrass themselves on national TV, which is good. And you know what? Someone tweeted this out and I reposted it. That was like, if the Yankees booted the ball that Hamilton booted, it would have been national news. And instead it wasn't. And it didn't matter. And yet it's like, yeah, because the Yankees also collapsed in the World Series. And this isn't a defense. This is a fact. The Yankees get so much flack for their poor defense. Across baseball, they do. And some of it's deserved, but a lot of it's not. Because if you look at some stats, they are a good defensive club. Of course, Apple puts up the stat that they have the most errors since the All Star break. Look at some of these errors, folks. I mean, the one on McMahon last week, come on. Really? Like, that's not an error. That needs to be taken out. And look, Boston had 3 errors tonight. It doesn't help Luis Heel walking people. It doesn't help that Jazz made that throw and allowed Story to get to second base. I believe it was Story. Um, not Story. Not Story. Yoshida reached on the E6. And even Rice goes, I need to catch that. I need to dig that out. And you know what? It's a work in progress with him. It's something that can plague them down the line in the postseason, which I am a little worried about with stuff like that. But something. It might have been Trevor Story in the sixth inning. Yeah, it was Trevor Story. I thought so. It was a 6-4 ground out, and Wells and Chisholm threw it into the camera well. And that's a slow roller. You probably aren't going to get to. You hold the ball, right? Because that was a 1 out. You want to keep the double play intact, right? It ended up not mattering. He struck out Nate Lowe and got Masataka Yoshida to roll over to second. So it didn't matter. And for all the boneheaded, stupid things that Jazz Chisholm did today, he also did some good things. I mean, he had some nice defensive plays. He also was stupid today. He stole bases. He was clearly safe on that play at home. But what he did in the second inning, to lead off the inning, there's zero excuse. And I hope Aaron Boone said something to him. If not, I hope someone in the clubhouse did. Trying to steal third with nobody out. You're already in scoring position. Trying to steal third with nobody out. And a left-handed hitter in the batter's box. Now, if it's right-handed hitter, all right. Left-hander in the batter's box. Right? Wells. Zero excuse. but Volpe's out, and he's going to be out for a little bit. I think maybe he'll be back on in the lineup on Monday in Minnesota. I don't think it should be guaranteed. Maybe Sunday against the left-hander, Crochet, even though he hasn't really been great against Crochet. That's a game where, you're probably going to see Rosario make a start against Crochet. Probably Austin Slater. Maybe Grisham a day. I'm sure. I mean, you're probably going to start Wells because he's been better against lefties, so Rice will get a day off on Sunday likely. Right, Caballero's been holding his own at short. It hasn't been like he's been bad. He's been pretty good. Making slick defensive plays. He was charged with an error today. That's not on him. He had that in the 7th inning. He did have a hit today. That ground rule double. His at bats are good. Like, he is really pesky. Like, puts a good at bat on. In the 7th inning, the ground rule double, and then stole third and scored on a grounder to second base by McMahon. Real hard hit that Narvaez couldn't get the ball at the plate, and McMahon ended up advancing to second. He scored after they intentionally walked Judge, and Rice hit a single. Rice had 2 hits tonight. And reached on catcher interference. Rice has been swinging the bat a little bit. He's an essential guy. He's going to be here for a while. Get used to Ben Rice. A lot of people really do like Ben Rice. I'm going to leave it here. Tomorrow's a big game for the New York Yankees. They have their ace going against their arch rivals, against a guy who has dominated the Yankees in his career, especially this year. And in that ballpark, if you can take tomorrow and set up Sunday to be pretty much, going for the sweep up at Fenway kind of deal. You're going for the sweep at Fenway. You're not, trying to sell. You're not trying to go for a series win against their ace. That's pretty much what I'm getting at. You want to avoid, if you can get to Crochet on Sunday after taking tomorrow bonus points, you don't want to go into Sunday like, we need to win this game. Because too often they don't. And you want to win the games you need to win. I'm leaving it there. Go Yankees tomorrow. Yes Network, the game's at 4 o'clock. Go Yankees. Have a great night.